Welcome to another episode of the Grind Time Show. Is your host Solid Dollar, and on this episode, we're going to talk about communication between men and women and how it affects our business as well as our financial goals. First thing that we need to dive into or understand is that women and men communicate in two totally different type of ways. So that's the first thing that we need to kind of like put on our radar, is that women sometimes they have a long wind or a more detailed way of communicating, and men we kind of express things in a short form, so sometimes that can be a clash in our communication. So that's one of the key things that we got to understand as far as communicating with the opposite sex. I truly believe that social media is playing a major part in confusing the masses on how to effectively communicate with each other. For instance, social media is now propagating the idea that men are supposed to do certain things for women that they're not supposed to do for men. Which is like, I don't know, that's kind of weird to me, because like if a man is supposed to do all of these things for a woman, then what are the things that a woman's supposed to do for a man in order to have that equilibrium within a relationship? Another thing that social media is promoting is this privacy thing. The boundaries of privacy. Everybody should have their own privacy. I don't care how long you've been in a relationship with somebody. I don't think you should go through their phone. I don't think you should be like, taking a liberty away from them, because the person that you're with is not your slave, is not your child. This is somebody that you decided to like have a bond with in order for y'all to move forward on whatever goals that y'all trying to establish. So, just because you're in a relationship with somebody, don't mean that you should go through they private items or their private belongings. I mean, like, that's something that's a major violation, I think, on any level. Is almost like two friends. Like, if you had two homeboys and he put his phone down, what gives you the right to go through his phone? And it's the same thing like if you had a mate or somebody that you was with, or somebody that you in a committed relationship with. It's just personal boundaries, but social media is promoting the idea that, if you're with somebody, you should go through their phone, and you have that right to have they passcode and all of these different things. To each his own. But I just think like that's a violation of somebody's personal boundaries and personal belongings. You know what I mean? So that's another thing that I think social media is really starting to confuse people with. And people are buying into the idea that this is the norm now, when back in the days, that's something that wasn't even, thought about. Another thing that's a problem is the lack of accountability. Like, a lot of people do not want to be accountable for whatever actions that they are deemed to do, or something that they've done. They will wiggle, they will go through the most extremes not to say, well, you know what, maybe I was wrong, or you know what, I did that and how can we fix it? Instead, you got a lot of gaslighting, you got a lot of deflecting. It's a lot of different things going on where people are not being adult like in these relationships. So, these are things that you should look at as far as the difference between the communication between men and women. And this is something that's going on a regular now. Another issue that I see that's going on between men and women is valuing money over somebody's personality. Like, if you're with somebody, you should be with them because, they make you feel good. Y'all have things in common. Besides money, like, money comes and goes. Like, you can have a person that have a whole lot of money, but you might not even have a rapport with them. You might not even like them on a personal level. So, valuing money over somebody that you can have a good time with, and not just a good time, but, somebody that you can enjoy yourself being with or learning from. I think like that's kind of weird. You should really be in a situation with somebody that you can further your life with, enjoy your time that you spend with them. And that should be the priority over money. And I think a lot of those ideas that I initially brought up are ideas that strongly propagated towards the women culture or the women in our community. But there's some things that men are being programmed with as well. a lot of the things that's being promoted to men through social media is them having sex with a whole lot of different women versus them trying to find a mate or somebody that they can, spend the rest of their life with, or have a long-term relationship. Another idea that I feel like, a lot of men shy away from is, women with kids. I don't think it's a big deal like to engage with a woman who have a child. If you love that woman, if you should love her child. Back in the days it was called like, a package deal. Like if you had somebody, you interact with them and they had a child, then you love their child the same way that you love them, you move forward. But nowadays, in social media, they're pretty much saying, well, if this woman got a child, she got a scarlet letter next to her name, so you should move on to somebody that doesn't have a child, or that's a single woman without children. But I mean, who's to say that that person might be the right person for you? And people, they have lives before you. People, they have children. I mean, these are things that happen in nature. These are things that happen in the universe. These are things that happen in the community. So, I think like this idea that's being promoted to men also created division between our communication as far as us, just trying to bond and build together as far as a community. Let's just kind of like go down memory lane a little bit, or back in the days. Back in the days, relationships last a lot longer because it was a different dynamic going on. Like women really look for marriage. Women was looking for men who actually was working and trying to take care of families, and they did what they had to do. They cleaned their homes. Women, they cook nowadays. Like some of these women can't even cook. So I mean, just the simple bare necessities sometimes now is like left out of the game. But you have women saying like, I'm the total package. Are you the total package? You can't even cook like a bowl of noodles, something that a child could do. Back in the days, women had no problem being a helpmate. They didn't, they had no issues like helping their men out in the yard, helping their men do whatever they could do. Nowadays is really, really fickle on the things that women are willing to do, because they have this idea of, if it's not like this, then if you're not doing this for me, then I'm not trying to like do anything for you. So I think that creates like a division within our community, and as far as us bonding. And yeah, pardon me, I'm a little bit under the weather, so you know what I mean, y'all gotta bear with my voice right now, but I'm still trying to give you this content. It's been almost a month since my last video, so I'm just deal with me and bear with me, and we're gonna get through this show together. Back in the days, women was not lazy like they are now. I mean, these women, they don't even clean up. They don't even clean themselves. You know what I mean? So, I mean, like, it's a weird dynamic that's going on in our society. And, as far as the cheating thing and adultery and stuff like that, there was times back in the days where people would engage or have different incidents that would happen, but the woman would find herself to try her best to work on their relationship to get past those infidelities or those different mishaps, because she knew she wanted that man to be in her life for the rest of her life. Nowadays it's like women are cheating heavier than the men. The men are they do a lot of different things. Some things is just unmentionable. But this is what's going on in today's society, and it plays a major part on how we can effectively build ourselves up as well as our mates. Now, a couple of things I think that we can do to enhance that is we can start to build each other up. We need to start valuing ourselves more, first individually, and then start to pour that value and that love and that information into our mates. I think that's a positive thing. Another thing that we need to realize is that in a relationship, it's pretty much primarily a friendship. or business relationship. And you know, once you look at it like that as a friendship, then you know it's easier for you to kind of understand the dynamics and be able to focus and grow with each other. You know, and that's something that, you know, it takes time to understand. But you know, overall, we need to stop allowing social media and different negative influences to derail our relationships and derail the bonds that we have with people that actually care about us. Because ultimately, what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be on those dating sites just having sex and not having nobody at the end of the day, or you know, to go home to, or nobody to really love. So you know, this is just a couple of things that I was kind of looking at, and I know is a tad bit away from the financial literacy, but it does have something to do with business. So I wanted to go ahead and drop that in for 2024. Let people know that communication is very important. Don't let social media like derail you from, you know, having your mate, from being with a good person, from having a strong, lasting, solid relationship. And as always, is your host Solid Dollar. Love yourself. I love y'all. Peace.